I wanted to be a model from the moment I learned to read light. Not brands, not runways. Light. The way it slides along cheekbones, carves simple geometry out of a face, turns a quiet nothing into a clear look. As a kid, I set a lamp in front of a mirror and searched for the angle where my eyes stopped hiding and started to grow. Years later, I could still find that angle in any room. A bus, a hallway, a kitchen with a tired bulb. It was my private instrument. At 16, I walked into a showroom, casting that smelled of hair dryers and borrowed mascara. Tape measured my height. A lens glanced at me like an impatient clerk. A card changed hands. Back home, the card became a coaster for someone else's cup. I learned the first rule of gentle ridicule. Not every no is loud. Some arrive as advice, jokes, or a kiss on the forehead. I began to save money anyway. Portfolio, walking class, bus tickets to a city where an agency promised open Saturdays. At night, I practiced existing in a white t-shirt and jeans. Those were my materials: fabric, bone, breath. The first refusal was not cruel, only accurate. Good proportions, nothing that hooks, a soft chin, a thin upper lip. The kind of notes that call a face a project. I lasted 2 days and then went again. To a friendlier door that quoted a price for test shots equal to 3 months of mopping floors at the cafe before dawn. I said I would think about it and went to work. The smell of disinfectant steadied me better than any compliment. I stopped speaking dreams out loud. Spoken dreams turn into towels on a hook. They block the door. I took a job as a store clerk in a home goods chain. People measured blankets and tried to imagine warmth. At lunch, I propped my phone on a box between blue trash bins and taped tiny tests. 3/4, profile, a step toward the camera, a glance over my shoulder. Some days the frame lived. Some days it looked like a passport. On those days, I wanted to delete my face and be a set of hands. I studied castings from backstage videos. The ones who stayed in memory were not perfect. They were insistent. Their gaze carried work, not victory. I trained a quiet straightness. No flirting, no proof, only a clean present tense. Here, this is my light. My boyfriend delivered food on a scooter. My family delivered opinions. I learned to pass between expectations like slipping between hangers. One afternoon, a photographer came into the store for a white sheet. While a colleague checked sizes, the woman sat by the window, lifted a camera, and looked at me with side light. Later, she handed me a card and a simple offer. Come by the studio if you want. No promises. I put the card next to my transit pass and waited a day before allowing hope to move. I wore the white t-shirt that never lies and tightened my hair into a small knot. The studio smelled like cardboard and coffee. Soft light, quiet air, no performance. Show how you stand when no one is watching. That was the only instruction I needed. I stood. Eyes found a point. Hands stopped inventing. The neck lengthened by a margin of life. The shutter clicked, and, for the first time, I did not think. Wrong. I thought, clear. We made 20 frames. On the bus home, I watched the city read itself in windows. The word model shifted inside me from applause to labor. Work is what begins when the need to prove falls silent. I returned to the studio twice a week before my shifts, stacking small lessons like folded sheets. Trust the jaw to the light, stand steadily, let stillness do its job. 8 frames became a little body of truth. A local library asked for portraits of ordinary women who do something very well. I stood between shelves that smelled like dusty bread and read the empty room with my gaze. The pictures were so simple they felt transparent. White t-shirt, jeans, unpainted face. Light, doing what it does. At the opening, people leaned closer as if listening. No one measured my hips. The word I carried out of that room was calm. A linen brand called. Small budgets, clean lines, no fireworks. On set, a stylist asked for less angle, less intent, more being. I found the space where air stopped feeling like an exam. The store job continued, but I no longer served time in it. I aligned blankets as if aligning frames, leaving air between folds. A customer told me my posture made her want to stand more quietly. It was the truest compliment I had ever received. A small agency reached out after the library series. They worked in an attic with triangular windows and no promises. No millimeters, just a question. How long can you stand clearly? Long enough, I said to myself. The first real checks paid for things that supported breath, a good kettle, a honey-warm lamp, a white sheet for home tests. Sometimes the photographer came to my kitchen and we shot instead of talking. The pictures looked like light practicing being kind. My circle did not change much. Warnings about jinxes arrived. Practical questions about money arrived. Comparisons arrived. I let most of it pass. Clarity is not a slogan, it is a posture. I kept a ledger of shoots the way I once kept a ledger of calls. Lines of time proving that a life was being built. Runways still visit me in dreams. Not as goals, but as souvenirs from a path I didn't take. In those dreams, the noise is too loud to hear the light. I wake, turn on my lamp, and set a cup beneath it. My face in the mirror no longer negotiates. Professional doesn't have to mean spectacle. It can mean showing a shirt and a page of air so honestly that someone across from you remembers how to breathe. Work gathered around that understanding. Catalogs with gentle clothes. Portraits for ceramicists. A spread in a city magazine titled with the word face, but photographed like a room. The check stayed small and steady. The light stayed patient. The part of me that once begged to be chosen learned to choose conditions instead. Soft source, clean background, a day without hurry. Sometimes the past writes to test the present. I answer with silence and a walk. I pass the first casting card taped in my notebook and notice the ring it once left under a cup. Every opinion leaves a circle. Not every circle is a shackle. I keep the card as an artifact and the lamp as a commitment. The room I stand in is ordinary. The work I do is ordinary. The way I belong in it is the point. If there is a moral here, it is thin and strong. I did not fail to become a model. I stopped outsourcing the definition. My profession is not applause. My profession is light and time. I stand where the angle is honest. I lend the shape I have, and I let stillness finish the sentence. Some days that is a bookshelf. Some days a kitchen window. Most days it is enough.